Carter Randolph is probably the most unassuming philanthropist you'll ever meet.
And if I were to provide a definition of Carter, it would be a Renaissance man. PhD, educator, entrepreneur, philanthropist, environmentalist, supporter of the arts, etc.
We weren't in the same classes. He was in much smarter classes than I was.
He is a courageous man. He is a critical thinker that does not necessarily, toe the traditional line.
He is passionate about nature and about sharing it and about the property of Green Acres and how to share it with Cincinnati.
My dad actually has always had a really big passion for horses. He grew up in a barn, as my Aunt Mary would say. He lived and slept in stalls with the horses and traveled with horses.
After a couple tequilas, he's a ball.
Carter has one of the most incisive, irreverent senses of humor of anybody that I've known.
He's happy, rolling up his sleeves or putting his boots on and getting out in the field, but also he's very comfortable putting a nice suit on and going downtown and, twisting somebody's arm or solving a problem.
He hits a golf ball 300 yards. I don't know if anyone's mentioned that.
When Mrs. Nippert started to decline as she aged, he pretty much single-handedly set up a nursing home in her house and hired all the people, oversaw them. He was on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There's a very kind and caring side to him that I didn't see till I had known him for a while.
Carter's parents were very good personal friends of the Nipperts. So at an early age, Carter gained an insight into the legacy of the Nipperts and their desire to use their vast resources in support of the arts, education, and generally the community. And Carter has been a wonderful steward of this legacy.
He's worked with the Nipperts for most of his life. And Mrs. Nippert and Mr. Nippert were a strong influence on him.
As Mr. Nippert aged, he wanted to leave a legacy, and so he got together with my dad, and they created this foundation and put it together so that it would be self-sustaining.
He always had at the core of what motivated him the intent, passions, and interest of the Nipperts.
She loved the arts. She never missed an opera. She never missed a symphony concert. Those were the things that she really enjoyed, and he worked to make sure that that legacy for her would live on forever.
Carter sees that as a living, breathing, dynamic, ever-evolving charge. And he's always thinking ahead. He's always pushing. He's always challenging us to think about things in a different way, but always making sure that our business choices are sound and prudent and consistent with her original vision.
He is just as humble at home as he is out in public. He accredits everything to the Nipperts and to other people in the vision, but really he's been a driving force behind that. He's the one who came up with the vision for the Louise Dieterle Nippert Fine Arts Fund.
I think it's safe to say that without the Louise Dieterle Nippert Musical Arts Fund and Carter's great stewardship of it, the arts in Cincinnati would be measurably poorer. We've all benefited from that fund. It is genuinely and truly unique. There is nothing else like it in the United States.
Mrs. Nippert believed that the Cincinnati Symphony Orchestra is the campfire, the artistic campfire around which the musical arts organizations in this community gather. And if she and the foundation could secure a strong, sustainable future for the Cincinnati Symphony Orchestra, she knew that that could help secure a strong, sustainable future for the classical arts infrastructure, if you will, for the whole city. But sustainability without innovation, you can get stale, and Carter is not at all interested in status quo. Carter is interested in making sure that we remain an alive, organic, forward-moving organization, and that's one of his great hallmarks.
When Carter first talked to me years and years ago about Green Acres, and it was going to be a combination of organic farming and the arts and raising cows, and I'm kind of looked at him like, and exactly how are you going to do it? It was an odd combination of things.
This past year, there were approximately 33,000 children educated at Green Acres.
It did start out just in Indian Hill, and now it has expanded where they include children from all over the city.
And a lot of these kids have never gotten outside of their inner city neighborhood, and for them to come out and check out Green Acres and see the animals, the trees, the woods, the creeks.
They see grass. They used to think cows were dogs. You know, we had students say that on the bus. They thought the air smelled funny because they never had fresh air. They just had always lived within their 6-block radius.
I think he took the reins in expanding Green Acres.
Every once in a while when I'm sitting in one of the board meetings, it hits me how big we've gotten. You know, it's pretty amazing.
Carter, I personally want to thank you for all that you have done and continue to do.
When you think about the number of lives that are touched, the impact to the community that Carter's had has been pretty incredible.
Saying I love you, of course you love your family. And of course you love the people that you're related to, but what really sticks is when you're proud of someone. So I just want to say, proud to know you, Cat Buster.